Hi, this is Richard Vague. As you know, we place a lot of importance on growth trends in real estate to understand trends in the overall economy. Right now, there's a lot of concern about real estate debt because of high interest rates, both mortgage debt and CRE or commercial real estate debt. High rates tend to hurt or erase the profit margins on CRE, which tend to have variable rate pricing. High rates both hurt existing deals and slow the pace of new deals. So I do worry about CRE debt, and I do think there will be problems there. At 23.4% of GDP, CRE loans are slightly above the 2019 pre-pandemic level and only slightly below the GFC level of 24.1%. Within that, strictly commercial loans are 14% of GDP, which is actually well below the 17% peak in the GFC. The likely bigger problem area is multifamily, which has grown to 8% of GDP, up from 6% in the GFC, though some of that surely comes from the lack of single-family houses available for sale or rent. And note that CRE is the second largest category of private sector debt at $5.8 trillion, well above, for example, energy lending at $1 trillion or tech lending at $1.5 to $2 trillion, but less than half the level of household mortgage debt, which is $12.5 trillion. So it's kind of the second biggest impact on the economy. Speaking of which, high rates slow the pace of home sales since they make home purchases considerably more expensive. And sure enough, existing home sales in February were 4.6 million, down from 5.9 million the previous February. That's a 23% decline. Most newspaper articles, you will note, reported this as an increase of 14% from January. So they were actually optimistic headlines. But that even though that's true, that's not meaningful since home sales are so very seasonal. So against a year ago, it was down 23%. Likewise, new home sales in January, which is the most recent data point, were 670,000, down from 831,000 in January of the previous year. Again, that's the right comparison. That's a 19% decline. Not surprisingly, given this, mortgage debt to GDP levels have been flat really for the better part of a decade now, so we don't have a high level of credit concern there. That's in part because we think there's a floor on home prices due to scarce inventory. In the GFC, now this is very important, unsold homes reached almost 4 million, and today they are less than 1 million unsold homes, so fairly dramatic difference that provides kind of a floor to valuations. Thanks, and that's it for this week.